We'll begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good morning. Welcome to the April 2nd, 2018 meeting for the Shawnee County Board of Commissioners. My name is Kevin Cook. I serve as the chair of the County Commission. Joining me today is Commissioner Shelley Bueller. Good morning.
Good morning.
Commissioner Archer was unable to join us today due to an issue that had come up, and so we will just proceed without him today.
Okay.
If we could take up our first item.
Proclamations, presentations. Number 1, presentation regarding the results of a National Park and Recreation Association's Economic Impact of Local Park Study.
Good morning, Commissioners. John Knight, Parks and Recreation. I did want to put this in front of the Commissioners and show the report that the National Recreation and Park Association just did nationwide and how it affected Topeka and also Shawnee County and also Kansas. I put this together real quick here, but this came out here about a week and a half ago from the National Recreation and Park Association. They did a national survey on this. The Parks and Recreation nationally, the local Parks and Rec departments, not your state or not your national parks, just the local Parks and Recreation agencies generated about $154 billion in economic activity across the country, which added up to about approximately 1.1 million jobs across the country. You can see some of the other language that's on there, but the Parks and Recreation agencies also spent about $31 billion on their employees on paychecks and those type of categories. Statewide, this was the 2015 data. The economic activity is $812 million worth of transactions, close to 8,000 full-time employees across the state, and per capita $279.10 per person. The effects ripple through not only through Parks and Recreation, through their employees, but also through the different vendors and the different purchases that we make each every 2 days, every other day at the County Commission agenda. Just to touch on some other things here, what they found was the economic development. About 3/4 of corporate executives rate quality of life as the place that they look for when they're relocating businesses. I know that that's not new information to you with all the discussion on Momentum 2022. That's some of the same information you're hearing from there on quality of life and quality of place. So that says that at least both of the two agencies are coming up with the same information. But it's that is an important part in where they choose to relocate their businesses. We also Parks and Recreation also plays a huge role in tourism. The poll found that people look for parks, trails, beaches and other relaxing places when they choose their vacation destinations. I think that's comparable with what we found with the Kansas Department of Wildlife, Parks and Tourism, and also Visit Topeka. You'll find a lot of that same information there. What you probably don't necessarily usually pay or correlate to is some of the other economic benefits of Parks and Recreation. The health and wellness aspect. The improved physical and mental health, improved quality of life, the better, more active you are, the lower your medical bills and insurance costs tend to be. All of that improves the entire community. We're also finding that older adults are more than 3.5 times more physical if they have walking trails and fitness loops near where they live. Another economic benefit is conservation and resiliency. Protecting the lands and the water and trees, open spaces, those type of things. There's a cost to treating stormwater runoff. The more open space and green space that we have that catches that, takes the non-point source pollution out of those waters, saving the citizens a lot of money in having to treat that water on down. The oxygen levels with trees, all of those type of things. It's hard to quantify, but it's a huge impact. Another benefit that it has been demonstrated, and we haven't done a lot of detail work here locally, but the property values near your major parks, those type of things, tend to be significantly higher than properties, and you can see where it falls off block by block as you get away from some of your parks. So those higher values means more taxpayer dollars for local governments. Basically, in summary, parks are an economic engine, a catalyst for community development, a necessity for human activity, and a necessity for our natural systems. With that being said, I just wanted to bring that to your attention, that the national study from NRPA came out, and I wanted to bring some highlights here for you this morning. Be happy to answer any questions you may have.
I don't know that I have any questions, John, but I might ask you to share this with GoTopeka. I see Barbara in the audience, and I think this might be useful information for economic development. I know too, that health impact assessments in regards to health and wellness, have you heard that much about that, or has there been much discussion?
No.
No?
No.
Okay. That's something I think we can look a little bit more into
Okay.
as well. So anyway, good information. Thank you.
Okay.
I think it just demonstrates once again how everything that we're doing is interconnected. And you know, recently at an event, Matt Pavarnik made the comment about that there is a movement happening in Topeka and Shawnee County where we tend not to think about things of my silo or my area, or telling people to stay out of their, stay in your lane, but everything interacts. We see how Parks and Recreation interacts with economic development, how community health impacts with Shawnee County Parks and Recreation, how all of these have an impact on one another, and so we're all interconnected and really recognizing where we can lift each other up. And so this, once again, where the economic impact of National Parks and Recreation Association has seen that this impact of going back one slide, John, the $154 billion in economic activity and 1.1 million jobs across our nation, but also the health impact on our community. So thank you, John, for bringing that to our attention.
On a smaller, more local scale, on one of the coldest days we've had this year, the Hillcrest fitness equipment that we just installed over there, the number of people that were there for that day for the activities going on to the parks. I know Commissioner Cook was there as we kind of cut the ribbon for that outdoor fitness equipment. It was huge impact, and hopefully in the years to come, people will use that equipment. In fact, we see the kids on it already. They're working out on it, only they don't know they're working out on it, they're just having fun. But they're working, yes. And some of the other citizens that'll become involved in using that stuff, hopefully that'll begin to make our community healthier and safer. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next item, Madam Clerk.
Item 3, consent agenda.
There are 3 items on the consent agenda. Any questions?
No, I have no questions, so thank you. I'll move approval.
I'll second. So motion made for approval by Commissioner Bueller, seconded by Commissioner Cook. All in favor say aye. All opposed? Passes 2-0. Our next item.
Item 4, new business. A, County Clerk, number 1, consider all voucher payments.
We have vouchers totaling $1,220,197.29. The JADO makes up most of that amount, $612,822.82. Detention facility has $72,296.86. We have Parks and Recreation at $45,532.71. That's a total of all combined. And then our contract with Mid-America Forensics with our district coroner, $44,583.33. And I have no questions. I'll move approval.
Motion for approval by Commissioner Bueller, second by Commissioner Cook. All in favor say aye. All opposed? Passes 2-0. Our next item.
Number 2, consider correction orders.
I'll move for approval.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Cook, second by Commissioner Bueller. All in favor say aye. All opposed? Passes 2-0. Our next item.
Item B, Community Corrections. Number 1, consider approval of the 2018-2019 Shawnee County 2nd District Adult Comprehensive Plan and Budget.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Morning.
Morning.
Rebecca Cartmill with Community Corrections. We took quite a hit this year in our Shawnee County budget. The actual amount won't be awarded till about June 27th, but it appears that we took about a $138,000 cut. And this will essentially eliminate most of our fringe items. Just for instance, we normally spend about $3,200 a year or a month in bus tickets to get indigent clients to the office, so that will be gone. We've eliminated most of our programs, our assessments, and fortunately I have 2 juvenile officers that are certified in moral reconation therapy, which is like thinking for change, but it's what the feds use. And they have stepped up and they will be offering a class to the adult offenders for free. So that's got something covered. We also have an officer retiring in September, so once he does that, we'll be able to put his personnel money, we won't be replacing him. And that will go back into some of these necessities. So our funding was slightly higher in 2nd District, which is Jefferson, Jackson, Potawatomi, and Wabaunsee, which we contract with to provide services. And like I said, we took a hit in Shawnee County. And so anyway, we've had some lean, I've been around for 32 years. We've had some lean years in the past, but we have not had any lately. So this is quite a deal. So we were able to cover salaries and the rent. So anyway, so that is our proposal. We are also on part 2 of that, our behavioral health grant, which provides our RADAC care coordinator and our recovery coach who have offices in our office. And they are full-time. They're actually 2 part-time positions put together as one on both of them. Part-time from 2nd District and part-time for Shawnee County on both the care coordinator and the behavioral health coach. So anyway, I'm praying that grant comes through again this year. So again, we were number 1 and number 2 in success rates in the state. We have been for several years, so hopefully that counts for something. So,
Just as a couple of notes, Shawnee County, the Community Corrections, this is a grant that's awarded by the state and then administered through Shawnee County. And so it's not Shawnee County tax dollars per se.
right,
It is everybody's tax dollars.
right.
Right.
And then as far as, did we see a decrease in our population that would contribute to the decrease in the funding?
Yes, we did on 2 fronts. We the less DUI offenders we received $38,000 less because of the DUI offenders are less than they predicted. Also, we had a decrease in total population from 710 last year to 620 just in Shawnee County alone in offenders placed on ISP. Community Corrections. Now, of course, I can't predict trends in population. That goes up and down. So what the next year will bring, I don't know.
But as far as this last year, we saw less people that committed the offense of driving under the influence and less violent or the higher risk offenders.
That's correct, sir.
And so that then correlates with the cut of the amount that we received.
That's correct.
Okay. Mr. Bueller, any questions?
That was my question. What was the reason why? So, yeah, I don't have any other questions.
But it's definitely not because of a decrease in the lack of services provided by
Right.
Shawnee County or our outcomes. We were still number 1 or number 2 in the state as far
Yeah.
as outcomes.
Right. That's correct. 90% rate of success in Shawnee County and 88% in 2nd District.
So I guess if we had to take away any good news, we had less criminal effects in Shawnee County. Looking for the silver lining.
That's right. I hope so.
I'll move to acknowledge, I believe we're acknowledging receipt of the budget.
Approving.
Approval.
Yeah.
So I will move to approve the budget.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Cook, second by Commissioner Bueller. All in favor, say aye. All opposed? Passes 2-0. Our next item.
Thank you very much.
Number 2, consider approval of the 2019 Behavioral Health Grant and Budget.
I think you're still up, Rebecca.
Oh, I'm still up. Okay. Sorry about that. It seems I was just so anxious to race back to the office and get back to work. And if you believe that, I have some land in Arizona. Again, the behavioral health grant, hopefully we'll get the same amount that we got last year. This is through, this grant provides us with a partnership with Heartland Regional Alcohol and Drug Assessment Center to provide a full-time care coordinator and a full-time recovery coach to work with our offenders in both districts to provide case management, care coordination, to enhance the effectiveness of services and keep offenders connected to treatment and services, and refer clientele to aftercare, maintenance, and peer group supports to enhance the effectiveness of treatment and recovery. And one of the things we do is we have, they provide a SASE, which is a drug and alcohol and mental health assessment, right up front to all new offenders coming in through an orientation group. And then the care coordinator will further refer those people that may show that they need further drug and alcohol treatment or further mental health care. And this is separate from the Senate Bill 123 drug and alcohol offenders that we also work with. So it's a wonderful service, and it frees up the officers to not have to make those phone calls and set up those services. So it's a wonderful, wonderful grant, and hopefully that will come through again.
Okay.
I have no questions now. I'll move approval.
Motion for approval by Commissioner Bueller, second by Commissioner Cook. All in favor say aye. All opposed? Passes 3-0. Thank you, or 2-0. Thank you very much, Rebecca.
Okay.
Our next item.
Yeah, you're finished.
Item C, Emergency Management. Number 1, consider approval to purchase one repeater from TBS Electronics, Inc. at a cost of $2,208.
Morning, Commissioners. I got an updated sheet here.
Thank you.
Nelson Castile Emergency Management. The sheet I just handed you is the actual final copy. When I submitted the packet last week, I apparently grabbed the draft copy off the printer, which the arithmetic was pointed out by Director Greiner and very concerning to me. So in April of 2015, Director Brian Cole of the Department of Corrections, they were taking out their previously used radio system, and instead of putting it on Purple Wave and getting bottom dollar for it, Emergency Management took control of all of that equipment. This is project number 1 of putting that equipment back into place. There are 4 repeaters. This is number 1. We are doing each of them because each location has some unique characteristics to it, and this was approved during the capital improvement during December. If we need to add or subtract things, we will. The capital outlay was near $15,000, I believe, but with the 4 scopes of work that we're working with right now, we believe will be under $10,000.
Questions regarding this?
Do I have any questions? I'll move approval and reflect that the corrected amount is $2,208.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Motion made by Commissioner Bueller, seconded by Commissioner Cook. All in favor say aye. All opposed? Passes 2-0. Our next item.
Number 2, consider approval to purchase radios from Motorola Solutions as a part of sustainment for the emergency management radio communications at a cost of $36,121.70.
Good morning again, Commissioners. Nelson Castile Emergency Management. This is going to be a 2 or 3 year sustainment project that we will be putting in for capital outlay dollars. The radios that we currently have, the top of the line, or as you would say, are currently 11 years old. We have several that are averaging age between 15 and 20 years old. As we've seen with many of these radios, the end of life for Motorola is approaching very quickly for most of those radios. We would like to start the process here of replacing several of those each year so that when they completely discontinue the line or we can no longer send them into aftermarket factories to get them repaired, that we have these these available. We will probably buy 5 this year and 5 next year. The remaining radios, we believe, are going to last a couple more years than that, but we want to be prepared for if and when they are no longer supported.
Any questions regarding this?
I have none.
I'll move approval then of the request to purchase the radios at the cost of $36,121.70.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Cook, second by Commissioner Bueller. All in favor, say aye. All opposed, passes 2-0. Thank you very much, Nelson.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Our next item.
D, Parks and Recreation, number 1, consider authorization and execution of contract C-116-2018 with the Topeka Baseball and Softball Association for the operation of the youth baseball and softball leagues at Dornwood Park, with the association compensating the county an amount equal to 40% of total fees collected.
Good morning, Commissioner. Sean Osborne, Parks and Recreation. The contract before you is with TBSA, the Topeka Baseball and Softball Association. This group facilitates a lot of what we do at Dornwood Park. They help do a lot of scheduling. They also, their board helps in the evening to run the leagues, which in turn, their volunteer hours saves the county about $34,000 in return. It's kind of a win situation for us with this group. We do have on the books 25 baseball teams, 11 t-ball, and 18 softball that are at Dornwood. So I'd be happy to answer any questions you might have.
Any questions?
I do not have any questions.
I'll move approval of the contract with the Topeka Baseball Softball Association.
I'll second.
Motion made by Commissioner Cook, second by Commissioner Bueller. All in favor, say aye. All opposed, passes 2-0. Thank you. Our next item.
Number 2, consider authorization and execution of contract C-117-2018 with the Hope Through Headphones Student Organization, setting out conditions for the inaugural Mental Music Scene Concert at Lake Shawnee on April 7th, 2018, with expenses offset by a special event fee of $500 and a donation of no less than $700 to the Parks and Recreation Foundation.
Good morning, Commissioners. John highlighted the benefit the Parks and Recreation have on economic impact as well as quality of life, and today we're presenting a contract for an event with the Washburn student organization, Hope Through Headphones. They plan to do a concert at Lake Shawnee this weekend. The concert will raise awareness of mental health issues. I do have Ms. Rodriguez with the Hope Through Headphones group here if you'd like to hear from her, and I can answer any questions you have.
If you wouldn't mind coming up and
Yeah.
just telling us a little bit about Hope Through Headphones and what we're achieving.
Okay, so this is something that I've just been working on this past year. We started last June but Hope Through Headphones is known as a movement that's using music to raise mental health education and awareness for students. At Washburn, currently our counseling services are not as funded as they should be. There's 2 to 3 week waiting period to see a counselor, which can potentially end up dangerous for a suicidal student. And so this concert there are bands, but in between each of the bands, there are speakers from Family Service and Guidance Center and Vallejo talking about suicide prevention, music therapy, different topics along those lines, and the lodge will be filled with different representatives from resources around the community as well. And then the funding that we're getting from it, or the proceeds that we're getting from it, we're hoping to give some back to the resources that helped us, as well as try to create more programs on Washburn's campus for students and their mental health.
And if people want more information, do they get in touch with you? Do they get in touch? Who do they get in touch with?
I would definitely be the person to go to.
Okay, well, let's go ahead and give us your name and contact information. So,
My name is Lexi Rodriguez, and my email would be Alexis, alexus.n.rodriguez@outlook.com.
okay. Great. It's a great organization. Sounds like an inaugural event, and I applaud you in activism.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Tell us the time of the event again and the date.
It's this Saturday, and gates open at noon, and then the last band ends at about 9:45 p.m.
Good. And that's all at Lake Shawnee?
Yes.
And which, whereabouts?
Reynolds Lodge.
Reynolds Lodge, okay. Good.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for coming and talking to us today about your event and what you're hoping to achieve.
Of course, thank you.
Any questions, Commissioner Bueller?
No, I have none. I'll move approval of the contract.
I'll second. So, motion made by Commissioner Bueller for approval, second by Commissioner Cook. All in favor, say aye. All opposed? Passes 2-0. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Our next item.
Number 3, consider authorization and execution of Contract C-118-2018 with British Soccer, a division of Challenger Sports, laying out the terms and conditions of hosting clinics and camps for 2018 with estimated annual expenses under $600 and projected revenue around $1,150.
Good morning again, Sean Osborne, Parks and Recreation. This is a contract with British Soccer, which we've had in the past. They provide a very well-organized opportunity for individuals to show up at soccer, and this provides some support for us. And they kind of run their own camp as well that takes place in July, and that's been very well received. So I'd be happy to answer any questions you guys might have.
Any questions?
I don't have any. Thank you. I'll move approval.
Motion for approval by Commissioner Bueller, second by Commissioner Cook. All in favor, say aye. All opposed? Passes 2-0. Thank you very much, Sean. Our next item.
Item E, Facilities Maintenance. Number 1, consider approval of request to utilize contingency funds for the emergency purchase from Sound Products of 3 replacement amplifiers for the public address sound system used in the Sunflower Ballroom at the Manor Conference Center at a cost of $2,920.
Good morning, Commissioners. Bill Kroll, Facilities Maintenance Director. A week or so ago, I received a phone call from the Capitol Plaza Hotel that the largest of the conference rooms at the Manor Conference Center, the Sunflower Room, the PA system was at about 50% operational, and in checking it out, we found 3 of the 6 amplifiers for that particular location were bad, and this would replace those from emergency contingency funds. Have any questions? I'll be happy to answer them.
And so, in short order, if you sat at the front of the room or the back room, you could hear, but if you were in the middle, you
If you
couldn't.
were in the middle, you couldn't hear, and that's where everybody sits.
And this is according to our contract, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
It would be
And we want to
considered.
make sure we can hear Commissioner Cook when he gives the State of the Community address, all right? So,
Thank you for-
yeah,
thank you for
pointing that out.
That was one of the things we made in an emergency.
There you go. All
I
right.
think they want to hear Mayor Delahue's.
I'll move approval.
Motion made by Commissioner Bueller for approval, second by Commissioner Cook. All in favor, say aye. All opposed? Passes 2-0. Our next item.
Number 2, consider approval of request to award a bid to Samco to replace the electric water heaters located in the sub-basement of the courthouse at a total cost of $12,945 with funding from the 2018 capital outlay.
Good morning, Commissioners. Bill Kroll, Facilities Maintenance Director. In the 2018 capital outlay, we budgeted $15,000 to replace the water heaters here for the courthouse. There is one in the boiler room that supplies hot water to the restrooms throughout the court side and office side, and a second one that supplies just the emergency operations center. The bids from Samco would get both of these items taken care of. Be happy to answer any questions you might have.
Any questions?
No, I have none.
I'll move for approval.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Cook, second by Commissioner Bueller. All in favor, say aye. All opposed? Passes 2-0. Our next item.
Number 3, consider approval of request to proceed with renovations of the courthouse snack bar with a budget of $41,662 with the following funding sources. 2017 capital outlay of $22,607, District Attorney's budget of $10,000, District Court budget of $7,000, and 2018 capital outlay of $2,055.
Morning, Commissioners. Bill Kroll, Facilities Maintenance Director. Some people have already noticed a little bit of work going on in the snack bar. We are doing the majority of the work in-house, and will continue to do so even with this budget. Taking funding from several sources to make sure we have enough money to do it properly. The District Attorney generously is sending $10,000 our way, as is the District Court sending $7,000, so that we can fix up that snack bar and make it a little more 21st century. Be happy to answer any questions you might have.
Any questions?
No, just a couple comments. I want to thank Bill and Jim. I know Jim went and talked with the courts and talked with the District Attorney's office. So the juries use that room. A lot of people that visit the the county use that room, and of course, our staff here at the courthouse. So it does need some attention. And
Yeah,
so-
it's tired.
Yeah, it is, and so it's time. So
Is that a motion?
I'll move approval, yes.
Motion for approval by Commissioner Bueller, second by Commissioner Cook. All in favor, say aye. All opposed, passes 2-0. Thank
you.
very much, Bill. Our next item.
Item F, Counselor, number 1, consider authorization and execution of Contract C-119-2018 with Train for purchase and installation of HVAC equipment at the East Topeka Learning Center at a cost of $279,832 to be reimbursed by Go Topeka.
Good morning, Commissioners. Jim Kraus, Shawnee County Counselor. As indicated, this is the second of 2 contracts that we will have regarding our involvement in the East Topeka Learning Center project. We're not expecting any more contracts on that. This contract is with Train to install an HVAC system at the facility. It's not an ordinary HVAC system, though. It is a specific one for that facility. My understanding is to be used by students in curriculum for training in HVAC installation and repair. We have representatives from Washburn Tech here this morning. If you have any more specific questions about that program, thank you for joining us this morning. I want to clear for the record, the amount is not $279,832. That's the base amount. There are 2 add-on alternatives to that proposal, and we need to accept both of those alternatives. One of them adds to the price, one of them subtracts from the price, so the total should be $274,296 after those 2 alternatives are accepted. And I'll be happy to answer any questions you might have.
So to begin with, the Shawnee County taxpayers, this is not part of the Shawnee County Commission budget. This is reimbursed by Go Topeka?
Right. This is funded by sales tax. But we are involved in the project so that it will be sales tax exempt.
So as soon as we get the bill, then we'll submit it, or as soon as we pay it, then Go Topeka will
Right.
reimburse us?
We do pay it, and it is required that Shawnee County oversee the project and pay it, and then we will receive reimbursement from Go Topeka.
And then, Dean Coco, would you mind just talking to us a little bit about how this HVAC system's maybe a little bit different and unique?
I think it's a good idea.
Bring my curriculum guy with me too, so I can talk about the big picture. So, thank you for allowing us to speak about this. As we all know, in the East Side Learning Center, which is the building Washburn Tech East, and 5.5 years ago, we entered into a partnership with Ingersoll Rand Train for the purpose of developing the second national training center in the nation for controls labs for HVAC, which we call Climate and Energy Control Technology. Okay, over the past 5.5 years, we have received upgrades in software, training from, staff development training from Train at no charge, because we are a national training center for Ingersoll Rand Train. So when the opportunity came up to do the renovations on the building to the east side of the community, we got together with the concept of building what we call a living lab. And probably the simplest way to understand this is, because I won't pretend to know everything about HVAC, is that if you take your OnStar program that's in your car, and the information monthly, you get printouts from your car about whether transmissions, motors, or whatever. This building is the same thing in a sense for HVAC. So information that the building would gather, of which students are learning the process of what that information means, and what the diagnosis might be, and what you might do to create efficiencies or maintain maintenance of buildings, similar to what you again get with your OnStar process. It will be the only building in the nation for Ingersoll Rand Train at this time, okay? I'm sure down the road there will be others, but there are no others in the nation for Ingersoll Rand Train to build a living lab such as this building would be. So students would migrate from HVAC to the controls lab, which they do now, and then they would also then, all students, okay, would have the opportunity then to even go over to the learning lab and learn additional information if they so desire to do that to advance their career opportunities. So you've seen the commercial on TV probably that says, "I'm here to fix elevator number 3." And the guy goes, "There's nothing wrong with elevator number 3." And they say, "Well, in 2 days, the motor on elevator number 3 will not be working. Okay, in essence, if you can picture that to your house, and on the coldest day in this year, who's at our house, the furnace decided to quit working. As I say, no, Coach, most of my stories are true. That one is true. Okay, and wouldn't it have been nice if I'd have known that 2 or 3 days ahead of time, so that Mrs. Coco didn't have to point out to me that it was 58 degrees in our house and going down. For the guys in the building, we understand the urgency of that, okay? So in essence, in all seriousness, Dr. Tatro, as far as curriculum offerings?
We have put together what we call building automation systems, which is a tier 2 level training beyond climate and energy control that would allow students to be engaged with electric control systems, programmable logic controls, as well as computer networking. So much of this, as Dean Coco has explained, exists in the cloud. It is all about digital controls and a controls lab. And our curriculum will allow then additional training beyond the mechanical systems that a technician normally would receive in climate and energy control.
Wow.
Wow. It's a great opportunity for education and
Yeah.
training and heating and air conditioning through the building as well. So,
And you're aware, over the last 5.5 years, the number of people that have come to our community from outside of our community to see what we did when we built the controls lab, or with Burlington Northern, or with Fiat Chrysler. This is another opportunity that people would be coming to our community to, believe me, Ingersoll Rand Train will be pumping people through that building to see how it was done.
Good deal.
great.
Yeah. I'll move approval of the contract.
Thank you.
A motion for approval by
We feel a lot better today, don't we?
Second by Commissioner Cook. All in favor say aye. All opposed? Passes 2-0.
Thank you.
Thank you much. Our next item.
Administrative communications.
This is an opportunity for any member of the public or department head to address the commission on any interest, item of interest or need.
Thought Tim was going to get up and say something there for a minute.
All right. Commissioner Bueller, anything?
I do not have anything this morning. Thank you.
Well, the only thing that I had was last night somebody left donut seeds on my front porch, so I'm hoping that my donuts come right up. I'm sure it wasn't an April Fool's Day joke. So I'm going to plant my string of donut seeds, and it talks about that I might even have sprinkled donuts. Or,
Oh my goodness.
I'm sure it will work.
Funny. Oh my goodness.
I don't have anything else, so. Our next item.
Executive sessions.
There is not a need for an executive session, so we are adjourned.
Can I see that?